Hello, everyone. Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for The Joneses. Number one, this is a book from AWA Upshot, Artists, Writers, and Artisans Inc. This is here. Let's go check out the creative team, and then I'll talk a little bit more about what the premise of this book is. So, this book is written by Michael Moreci with art by Alessandro Vitti, Eva Svorcina on colors, and Sal Cipriano on letters. Cover by John Gallagher. There's a few covers for this stuff. But yeah, so this book, I follow Michael Moreci on Twitter. I'm a big fan of his work from things like that are more horror. But then I saw that this was more in the superhero realm, which I believe he also addresses at the end of the book. So I actually recommend you check that out. And because of that, I was like, okay, well, I got to check out this number one. It's a new book. AWA has been putting out some really, really cool stuff. I recently read Not All Robots by Mark Russell and Mike Deodato. Um, and yeah, just this kind of stuff just interests me. I do know that AWA like have been they just they bring people to kind of have these comics, and they're mostly miniseries. There's nothing really super ongoing other than some of their other superhero stuff. So it's always a great chance to just check out something new, maybe an interesting concept, and see where we go from there. Uh, so in this specific one, this book is spinning out of the pages of the Resistance, which is one of actually their longer running series. The Joneses focus on a suburban family with a big secret in the global pandemic known as the Great Death. Mother, father, sister, and brother were all transformed into something superhuman. While the world embraces fascism born out of fear, the Joneses realize they face grave consequences if they're exposed as reborns. Now, reborns are people with powers in this world. Uh, so, do they keep a low profile and hide in plain sight, or do they use their powers for good and risk exposure? So, yeah, this was really interesting. But even if you haven't read anything from the Resistance, I think you can still get into this book. So let's take a look at some art pages as we kind of talk more through the book a little bit. Um, so the I really like the fashion of the art. It starts with a very dark, like the colors are very dark, very somber, heavy inks, um, which just really add to the tone of the book. But then as we kind of get introduced to these characters, very cool designs. I love this character here with the bandana, and I'll keep it a secret. You guys can kind of read into it. I don't want to spoil too much of the book going in, but the conflict looks really cool. I think Vitti does a fantastic job laying out these pages and just kind of making it feel like actual, like it really feels like a superhero comic, like just visually. And this is something really interesting because at the back of the book, Moreci mentions he's never written a superhero book, but this was something that just kind of came to him and wanted. This is a book he actually wanted to write, and the book does deal with a lot of stuff that may seem contemporary, just the themes and the questions of like like excluding these people and people organizing against a certain group just because of preconceived notions. So yeah, it was an interesting read. I'm gonna stick with this. It's only 5 issues, so I really like when there's a very low commitment to a book, because it's easier for me to get into it and maybe just expect, if it's a good thing, hopefully it'll keep going. If it's not, then it's a one and done thing. But I'll tell you this is looking like it's gonna be a great thing. So I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the series. AW has been doing really fun stuff. Here I have one more art panel to show, and just look at the like I said, this looks like just a regular old superhero comic, but it's a little bit more elevated. Like I love I don't know, just the introduction of new characters and the new mythology is always fun because it's really something out of the norm, not something that we're normally used to watching. And yeah, the action scenes are very cool, but there's also a lot of stuff where, like I said, this is ultimately a book about a family and how they're trying to survive in this world, with this new change in their life, right? Trying to fight this prejudice. But what happens when, like, they have nosy neighbors and they have like people in their community that they rely on, because they just live in the suburbs and they have to be part of this community. So I don't know. I really enjoyed this book. I recommend it if you wanted something a little bit different. But yeah, let us know what you think. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, Hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Sundays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned because we have more trailer reactions, TV recaps, comic reviews, movie reviews, all that good stuff. Also, if you follow us on Twitter, fill out our survey. We are gathering some data for the worst comic book adaptations. And we've received a bunch of responses. Reading them is wild. So check that out at Next Issue Pod. We'll be tweeting out the link to the survey. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.